Hello, this is Aoife Dean and this is the Happy Weight podcast. I'm actually recording this in my hotel room in Edinburgh. I'm on a girly weekend away this weekend with my friends. It's our 20-year reunion of starting university in Edinburgh in Queen Margaret. So yeah, it's really exciting. And so first disclaimer, I suppose I have to make, I've like ulcerative colitis, like Crohn's colitis. So I suppose what I have to do diet-wise can be a bit different. There can be times where I'm very unwell and I'm in a relapse. And then there's times that I'm drugged up to be damned and on steroids and everything, and I'm very well. But thankfully, over the years, now that I don't have binge eating disorder and stuff, I can go to the beat of my own drum a little. And that's maybe a chat for another day, because it's really common for people with eating issues to have IBS, maybe not IBD, but certainly IBS. And oh my God, then it's just a nightmare, because there's foods that are bad for you, but if you try and stay off them, you actually binge them even more. So it's just a nightmare. I'm very, very happy to be out of anyways. But yeah, so I've made like 4 little points that I think can really help us. I'm kind of putting myself back into, when I would have been kind of coming out of eating and binge eating and stuff like that. 4 points that really would have helped me. So the first thing is make sure that your Sunday night when you're coming home from the reunion or whatever is gorgeous. Like maybe pre-plan a lovely takeaway or your favorite dinner, and take that one step further and plan a really gorgeous Monday breakfast, or maybe a Monday night lovely dinner, and just basically a lovely week with food next week. Because what we have to get out of is the last hurrah mentality. Like, it's really unfortunate is that most of the people listening to this podcast are living in a developed country, and they do have food in their house and they do have money in the bank, and, things are well on the scheme of things. There is no food scarcity. There is no famine. But when we kind of say, I'll be good on Monday or I'll be good next week, we're imposing a famine on ourselves, and our brain and a part of our brain will react just like cave people did, who knew a food shortage was coming. And that reaction is to eat more now. So because that's a hard thing to change as well in our head, that like food is not going away. And no matter where you are, and whatever nice, yummy things that you were eating, if you really had to get your hands on them back in Cork or wherever you live, you could. Like, you could find a way to have them in your week next week. So when we're going from a weight problem to not having a weight problem, I kind of think the mantra of weight gain is, I'll be good on Monday, and this is my last hurrah. And when we're getting out of a weight problem, we're living a happily ever after. That like food is never going to be taken away from me. I intend on having a comfortable day with food every day of my life, not being starved, not being stuffed. Beautiful calories are always around the corner. Because even as you're listening to this podcast, I guarantee you in the next 24 hours or 48 hours, you will be offered something beautiful, or some opportunity to eat something beautiful will turn up that you currently don't know and couldn't have predicted. So like, there is always yummier options around the corner. And like, to be honest, I kind of think it's a bit like Christmas in January. People can go wild in Christmas because they're telling themselves they're being good in January. But like, geez, January is grim enough. Like, everyone's broke. The weather is dark. Loved ones have flown back to other countries. Like, we definitely need food as a comfort. So that's a really cruel thing to tell ourselves, that food won't be there in January. And it's the same with a weekend away, to tell ourselves Monday then, it's back to Fitness Pal or back to counting points or calories or whatever. It's like, that's a bit mean on you. Like, there already might be a little bit of a come down from going back to work or whatever after a fun weekend away. So, I think it's good to see food as a positive and medicinal. And if we are comfort eaters, we have to recognize that and realize that comfort eating is a very different thing from discomfort eating. We're not on about making ourselves overfull or stuffed or sick or guilty, but us eating nice food on Monday when we're back to work and the weather's dark or whatever, that's just being kind. So, so that's just something to think about, like making sure next week is even better than whatever this weekend will offer you food-wise. And also maybe get inspiration from the weekend, like as in, I don't know, maybe you order something on the menu or one of your friends orders something on the menu and you're like, oh my God, I haven't had that in ages. I'm going to make that Thursday night. Like I had actually forgotten how yummy that was. So rather than being like, oh, this is the last hurrah, be inspired to be kind of like, that needs to be in my diet more often. I love the taste of that. And then I think the next one is like make everything a research project. So doesn't Einstein have some amazing quote about like stay curious? Like curiosity is actually a superpower. And especially when it comes to figuring out our food and our body, because we're kind of fecked up with food when we've just all these, pre-made assumptions like that food is bad, this food is good, this is what you should eat, this is the amount you shouldn't eat, and everything's just set in stone. And curiosity is the opposite of that. So I suppose, say with food and stuff, we could be like, I need a lunch or I need a dinner or I need this or whatever. And now just being curious is being like, wow, I wonder how long that will keep me full. Or I wonder how much food will take to fill my belly. Because I want to be leaving this restaurant feeling lovely and comfortable and happily belly stuffed. And I wonder how much food it will take. Will it take a little? Will it take a lot? And we're just feeling our way through it. And then we're also feeling our way through it afterwards in terms of like, how long that keeps us full or when we need food again or what we need. And the next one that kind of goes in with that, I suppose, is be willing to sit around out. So there might be something that's really important to the people that you're traveling with and just literally isn't your thing. So whether it's cocktails or whether it's a fry up or, you might be more of an ice cream girl than a fry up girl or more of a pastry person. And you might need the toast and stuff in the apartment because you might have your eye on, okay, now I'm just talking about myself here, but like you might have your eye on a Cafe Nero and you might want a big giant latte and a pastry. You don't actually, really need the toast or the stuff that you'd be having at home anyways, or is no big thrill to you. So, be willing to sit around out of the stuff that you don't really care about for the stuff you really do care about. And I suppose that's going to the beat of our own drum as well, because maybe at 3:00 or whatever, no one else wants to stop for ice cream, but you do want to stop for ice cream. Or, just general minding yourself, like as in really making sure that you're stopping to hydrate or stopping off in places to buy a bottle of water or whatever it might be, that you're interjecting and minding yourself when maybe no one else has any body cues at that same time. And equally, you're willing to sit around out if it's actually kind of not your thing as well. And then I suppose the next one is cut conversations short on diet. I would say if you're working through something, right, if you have a history of eating and weight issues and you really want to get to the other side of them, don't disclose any information about your weight and eating. And that's literally, that says nothing about our friends. That says nothing about the people in our lives. But we kind of have to stop being the same caricature, because if we're becoming someone who is not obsessed with diets and weight loss, we're just sorted. It's not a problem anymore. Well, everything is practice, like as in I was talking to a client this morning and we were chatting about like, confidence is practice, like if you're going to be going to a place next summer in your togs or something, if you're going to Centre Parks or something next year in your togs and you want to be confident next March, well, we'd want to be practicing being confident in our togs now rather than waiting for some magic wand to come and change your thinking next March. And it's the same with our day-to-day chat. Like if the end product us wouldn't be chatting and, telling everyone what we ate yesterday and stuff or beliefs on what you should and shouldn't eat. Like we want to stop all that now as well. And I kind of think another one is that sometimes you feel it in your bones before you go to the restaurant at all, what your number one need is. like you might be really in the need for booze. You might really be in the need for like dessert. You might be more of in a dessert belly mood. Or you might be all about the pasta or something like that. And I think recognize it, because say if our belly being full is 100%, like almost kind of think like, you know, say if you were in a super sweet mood, you might be like, well, I want to allocate like 50% of my belly to sweetie stuff anyway, just because that's the kind of mood I'm in. Or we might be like, do you know what? I'm really all about the wine and the booze and all the rest of it. So like, I don't really need or want to go mad on the food side of things, because that's not my thing tonight. And just, I suppose, knowing where our priorities lie tonight, because, you know, it's kind of like, say if we're downsizing our weight, it's kind of like moving from a big house to a small house. You're bringing all the stuff with you that serves a function or brings you joy or makes you happy. And I think it's the same with our diet. We're being super specific on the stuff that makes us happy in this moment, puts the taste and feeling in our belly that we want at this time, knowing that every other day and every other time out at a restaurant might be slightly different, but we're listening to our needs right now. And then I said a point there, right? Make everything a research project. And now I realize why I wrote that point. The other thing is that, right, if you're, say, hungover, make that a research project. Make always how you're feeling a research project, because no one has ever been in your body before. And when we had a messed up relationship with food, if we were hungover or whatever, our natural reaction would be like, okay, cool, I can eat as much as humanly possible. I can just eat and eat and eat and eat whatever I'm allowed. Or whereas now, if we're moving into a nicer mindset, whereas like, geez, sure, nothing's going to happen at midnight that someone's going to remove all the food from the planet. Like, I can eat nice stuff tomorrow as well. So really the thing is now, if I'm hungover or whatever, is like, right, okay, there's never been another me. No one else has the exact same body as me. So what could work now this morning? Like, okay, so it's 11 a.m. and I'm feeling like X. How could I feel a bit better by 12? How could I feel a bit better by 1, by 2? So you're just, yet again, feeling your way through what do you need, what works, what doesn't, like trial and error for what works with your body. And I always kind of think of an example with a client with that one. I remember she did have a funny tummy or whatever. And I remember asking her like, well, what would you do in this situation? You know, if you didn't have food issues and you wanted to make your belly feel better. And she's like, I'd have a sausage or two. And I'm like, cool, perfect, you know, and she did, and her belly felt fine. And like, yeah, we're weird and wonderful creatures and we're all different. And what makes one person's belly feel comfy will make another person uncomfy. And a hangover is definitely like that, or pretty much any state of our body is a little bit like that. So like, be super open-minded. And if we are hungover or something like that, that's one time where you wouldn't want to be judgmental with food, because it could be the weirdest mix and amounts and timings that are going to make you feel better. So like, take wrong or right out of it, because you're really limiting yourself with wrong or right. Because even in a balanced everyday diet, like veg is really great when you're combining it with fatty stuff, you know, and takeaway can be really nice if you're having it with salad or veg, like as in yin and yang are kind of nice in our diet. So if you're trying to kind of stay in a corner of, oh, I'm hungover, so I only eat bad food, or I'm being good today, so I only eat good food, it's like you're really shafting yourself, and it's going to be quite hard to feel well. And you're also probably going to be eating stuff that isn't your thing or isn't serving a function. You're just eating it because it's in a certain category of food. So how our body feels from the nose down is our health and our weight. And the choices we make food-wise when we're kind of thinking, well, what would keep my belly happy in 20 minutes time, usually is something that our mind would never come up with. Like, usually, you know, you're listening to the mind because it will say should and shouldn't, right and wrong. You're always allowed to have that, or have all of it, or have none of it, you know, and you should never be eating it. That's generally the mind. Whereas the signals from our body can often kind of be kind of a little bit like, ooh, I'll have a little bit of that and a little bit of this. And, just a little bit of a mix and match of a day or of foods so that our belly and our body can be super comfortable. So we are our own research projects. And that really helped me with my confidence as well, to be like, I will not be told by any expert in the world what to eat, because no one knows my body better than I do. And you were the same. So I hope if you are going away somewhere, you have a lovely, lovely time, and also make gorgeous food memories. Like, that's another thing that I think is super important. I'm just off the phone from a client who, it's a lovely autumn morning and she's out with her husband and she's having carrot cake for breakfast, and it's blue skies and all cold and autumny, and her little doggos are with her, and it's just a lovely food memory. And I was saying to her that, like, you and me both have ruined enough lovely memories from either restricting or overeating. So, that's another really nice approach to have for the weekend as well. Let's just make nice food memories where I'm eating stuff that tastes nice and I'm honouring myself and I'm leaving places feeling nice and I'm flying home feeling nice. Looking forward to a lovely week of food ahead of me. So I hope that's helpful, and chat to you next time. Mwah.